Mackey, with Fred Lorenzen at the Darlington Raceway, where Richard Petty, shooting for his first Southern 500 victory, is still in the lead. Freddie, you think he'll make it?
Well, Chris, it looks real good. He's commanding the field right now with a full lap lead, and he's still pulling away.
That's the lead car, Richard Petty's Plymouth. One lap behind in second place is the number 17 Ford of David Pearson. And in the same lap with him in car number 12, Donnie Allison. 2 laps down in fourth place is his brother Bobby Allison in the Chevelle, closely followed by Buddy Baker in the Dodge Charger. Right behind them was rookie Charlie Klotzbach in the number 72 Dodge. Bobby Allison just ahead of Buddy Baker, and Allison's in trouble with the engine. Smoking there, and Buddy Baker starts to go past. We'll be back for more exciting Southern 500 action in a minute. Richard Petty leads. His average 131.4 miles per hour at this point of the contest, near the record. And here's Bobby Allison, now out of the race. Bobby, your strategy was working for a while, but why are you here now?
We blew the engine, Chris. I was real pleased with the way the car was running, and quite surprised that we got to the front as quick as we did. But everything was going along beautifully, and just lost an engine.
I see a lot of black marks on your driving suit. Is there more rubber out there than usual?
No, there's not, Chris. I run without the windows, and you always get a lot of rubber blows around inside the car.
Well, better luck next time.
Thank you, Chris.
And Richard Petty continues to burn up the 1 3/8 mile Darlington International Raceway at his 1957 Hemi Head Plymouth. Whoops! Car number 36 spinning down there, and it's Buddy Baker crashing into Elmo Langley and H.B. Bailey. A tough break for Buddy Baker as he coasts to a stop right beneath our cameraman. He looks okay, and I wonder what Buddy Baker is thinking at this very moment as he undoes his shoulder harnesses. Tough break, eh, Freddie?
It sure is, Chris. He was running good, just laying back all day. It looked to me like he just didn't see that car start to spin.
There's Elmo Langley's car, and it's seriously torn up in the back. Surprised to actually see it running. Baker's being assisted out of the car. He looks a bit dazed, disappointed, of course, and he seems to be refusing the aid of the attendants there. Wants to get his helmet off. He's a big fellow, well over 6 feet and well over 200 pounds. And there's the front end of the Ray Fox Dodge. And here's the Pontiac that he was involved with, H.B. Bailey's car. And you can see the side where it was hit by Baker's machine. Pearson, in second place, uses this yellow flag period to come to the pits. And while we have the slowdown, Freddie, let's take another look at the accident. There's Bailey spinning up into the path of Langley.
See, Chris, it looks like Buddy came in there too hard, and he's trying to dive down to get underneath of Langley.
Now, here in stop action, we can see how this accident developed. There, he's in the side of Bailey's car with his face against the steering wheel.
There's the hole that he was trying to go through at the beginning, Chris.
And the car starts down the track. Here's Buddy now. Buddy, it was a nasty-looking spill up there. How are you?
Oh, it shook me up a little bit, but I'm all right.
What happened out there on the track?
This H.B. Bailey in a Pontiac or something, I don't know what it was. Went into this first corner down here and lost it on the flat and spun out in front of me. I was in a part of the track where I was running about 155 miles an hour, and I just couldn't miss it.
Solid hit?
Yeah, and this is the second time a slow car has cost me. I feel like the race, because I did exactly what I told you I was going to do. I led the first couple of laps, and then I fell back and started pacing.
Well, better luck next time, buddy. They've been running under the yellow flag and are now ready to restart the competition. Richard Petty continues to lead with a lap over the entire field. Because of the pit stop, David Pearson has fallen to third, allowing Donnie Allison in car number 12 to take second. 2 laps behind the leaders, G.C. Spencer, Petty's teammate, is fourth in his Plymouth, and Jim Pascal fifth in car number 14, also a Plymouth. So it's been an exciting contest with Richard Petty on top from the beginning. We'll be back for more exciting Southern 500 action in a minute. The Richard Petty pit crew, headed by his brother Maurice, stands out there watching their #1 boy in car number 43, Richard Petty, set the pace out here. Coming up on Darrell Derringer in car number 26, following the last year's winner around the track, and he goes by him on the outside. And now comes up behind Donnie Allison in car number 12. Allison is his most serious challenger at this point, flying second, and he wants to put a lap on it. And put that lap on he does. Richard Petty seems to be invincible. Oh, Paul Goldsmith wraps the wall, dives down low. Will he resume competition? No. His Plymouth pulls to the apron. It's a fatiguing kind of a race, isn't it, Fred?
It sure is, Chris, and I think he just hit an oil slick or something there, but he hit the wall awful hard.
Bud Moore, the rookie, lies 8th, doing a fine job in that Dodge Charger. One of the few drivers in big league competition that wears eyeglasses under his goggles. And here's leader Richard Petty now, coming into the pits as Maurice signals him to stay away from the inside wall. And this, of course, means inside tires, among other things. Why the 4-tire change, Fred?
Well, Chris, it seems like that he has got such a commanding lead that Maurice, his brother, doesn't want to take a chance, I think, and they're just going to put new rubber on both sides.
He's going to be able to really go when he goes out this time. And there's the 10-gallon fuel can that's used in all the pits here at Darlington. And Richard, with that ever-present rag in his mouth, waiting for the go signal. Lots of scurrying around. It takes a long time to change the tires on both sides of a car. They have to jack up first one side and then the other. And there's that hole in the pit wall Sam McQuagg left from his crash earlier today. And now Richard roars back into action. And despite the length of the pit stop, he still holds the lead.
It's cut down to less than a lap now, though, Chris.
Well, Donnie Allison's in a striking position here, as is David Pearson. Whoops, it's slippery out there. And more dirt track racing. Apparently there's oil on the track, right, Fred?
Somebody has blown an engine down there. They haven't brought out the caution. I guess that they just think they'll wear the oil off. There it is now.
That's right, Fred. One of the rules of stock car racing is that the track must be dry and adhesive. David Pearson has taken advantage of the yellow flag to make a stop, but Cale Yarborough is going in for him. A rather surprising maneuver. And there's David rubbing at his eye. Perhaps he's got something in his eye. At any rate, Cale Yarborough is now taking over a car that was tailored for another man. Is this a problem, Fred?
It could be, Chris, but seeing they're both about the same size, and they both like to run a seat quite close to the wheel, so I think Cale will like the seat pretty well.
Well, while they are drying the oil on the track, let's take a quick look at the finale of the annual Miss Southern 500 beauty pageant held before the race. This year's contest drew 21 of the Palmetto State's most lovely young ladies. And girls throughout the entire state of South Carolina shoot for this particular contest because it is #1 in their state. Freddie, you're a bachelor. How do they look to you?
They sure look awful sharp to me, Chris. I haven't missed one of these since I started in NASCAR in 1960, and this year is one of the best. It's sure no place for a bachelor.
And this contest is annually one of the crowd pleasers here at Darlington. The judges must have had a tough decision deciding on who to give the crown to this year. I know I wouldn't want to be a judge. And there they've picked a winner. It's Miss Roxanne Copeland of Lamar, South Carolina, and the crowd likes the decision the judges made. So the crown from last year's Miss Southern 500 is placed upon her head, and with it, a scholarship, a mink cape, a bouquet, and when the race is over, a kiss for the winner of this year's Southern 500. Race fans at Darlington come early, many the day before the race, and spend the night in the infield and have to shave by their car mirrors in the morning. Others who make a picnic of it cook for their entire family, many of whom sleep in trunks and under quilts that Grandma made, on a very hard hood of a car or on the ground. Stock car racing is a family sport, and for the children, a ready-made playground beneath the scoreboard in the middle of the infield. And as race time draws near, the people start to climb to positions that they can see the contest on top of their car, on top of their towers. And some sleep late. Now, with the track dry, back to the race. Richard Petty has a full lap on the entire field. There are still many cars left in the race. The mechanical failures have been low here at Darlington today. Donnie Allison is in second place, just over a lap behind Petty. G.C. Spencer's moved to third, and Cale Yarborough, substituting for David Pearson, is fourth. And here is Donnie Allison coming into the pits now. Is that a schedule stop, Fred?
No, it isn't, Chris. He must have trouble. I don't hear the engine running, and this will really hurt his chances of victory here today.
Well, he was in a good spot to catch Petty because Petty's going only 75 miles on a tank of gas and a set of tires, while Allison's going a lot further. A tough break, and it's written all over his face. Richard Petty now has a commanding lead, but his Southern 500 luck has always been bad. He's never won here, Freddie.
Well, my luck hasn't been too good here either in the 500, Chris. I've never won one either.
Well, we'll be back for more of the Southern 500, but now let's go to Jim McKay in Sherbrooke, Quebec. This is Chrissy Conamacky along with Fred Lorenzen back in Darlington, South Carolina for the Southern 500 stock car race. Richard Petty in car number 43 continues to lead this $100,000 stock car race. He has more than a lap on the entire field. His teammate, Grover Cleveland Spencer, a 20-year veteran in his first factory ride, lies second but is being pressured hard right there by David Pearson's replacement, Cale Yarborough, in the number 17 Ford Fairlane. This is where the race is now for second place. Fourth place belongs to Jim Pascal in car 14, a Plymouth, and Charlie Glassback in car number 72, a Dodge, lies fifth. But all eyes are on this duel for second place between G.C. Spencer, an old veteran who was put into the second Petty car by virtue of sterling performances in his own car, and now factory back number 17, Cale Yarborough, the replacement driver, goes by Spencer to take over second place in the late stages of this 500-mile classic. And it looks like it was a strenuous try for Spencer there with that little Dido, doesn't it, Freddie?
He slipped a little bit up there in the first turn, Chris.
There's Jim Pascal in car number 14. He was lying fifth until a few moments ago. That's the Tom Friedkin Plymouth, and it looks as though Jim is out of it. And here's a spin. Car number 24, Bob Mossgrover from Keokuk, Iowa, straightens it out and continues in the competition. Even the Petty pit crew is amazed at the speeds Richard is turning in late in the race. Freddie, will he slow down?
I don't think so, Chris. If he was going to slow down, he'd have slowed down by now. He's still turning it just as quick as he was when the race started.
He's a heavy-footed driver. And with Richard Petty leading, we'll be back for the closing moments of the Southern 500 after this message. Richard Petty, car number 43, scoring a runaway in the Southern 500, comes down to take the white flag, signifying one lap to go. Freddie, you've taken the white flag in front in many a big race. What do you think about that final turn of the track?
You sure think, Chris, whether you can really make it or not. The engine could blow, you could blow a tire, a lot of things go through your mind.
I guess that's what Richard Petty is thinking about right now as he hits the midpoint on the backstretch, with that Plymouth humming a merry tune from start to finish here at Darlington, South Carolina. He's been trying since 1958 to win the race and has never been able to make it. He's won lesser races here, but never the all-important Southern 500, which right now is his. He has won it, and his pit crew cheers him across the line. So Richard Petty, the all-American boy from Randleman, North Carolina, finally pulls off the big one, the Southern 500. Behind him, in car number 17, a good distance back, the car that was started by David Pearson and later taken over by Cale Yarborough in second place, 5 laps behind. Then, in third place, Petty's teammate, G.C. Spencer, in car number 42, also 5 laps behind. And here comes Richard Petty, the winner, to our camera position. Congratulations, Richard. You got your first 500. You must feel great.
Well, I tell you, of all the races I've ever won, I'd rather win this race right here.
Was it a tough one?
It was to begin with, but everybody had more trouble than I did, and then it come up real easy.
Well, Richard, it's your 21st career victory, or 68th of your So you're 68th of your career, you're 21st this season, and you won your first Southern 500. What's next for you?
They're running a hit race at Hickory this coming Friday night, so that'll be our next.
Well, so Richard Petty being congratulated by his father. Lee here. Lee, must be a great feeling to have your son make this achievement, isn't it?
It's just a great feeling to have a winner.
That's the way. Congratulations to you both. That win worth $26,900 for Richard Petty. The second place, number 17 car, grossed $10,825, which will be divided between David Pearson and Cale Yarborough. Third place money to G.C. Spencer in car 42, $6,175. Well, Freddie, a great race it was, and after 11 years of trying, Richard Petty finally got his first Southern 500, and with it a career record and a season record as well. What'd you think of it?
Well, I'll have to say, Chris, it was Richard Petty all the way from the first lap to the end, and I'll say another thing. He did run for it. He ran his last lap as fast as his first, and it was just Richard Petty all the way.
Well, you said something in the beginning about the lightweights, and the lightweight won, didn't it?
Yes, it did. His car was about 250 pounds lighter than most of the cars here. He ran a smaller engine in cubic inches, and I think the weight helped him, but I think Richard Petty helped himself.
Well, all in all, it was a great day, and we're lucky to say that Sam McQuagg isn't badly hurt. A great Southern 500 at Darlington. This huge crowd has seen wonderful racing, several spectacular accidents, and fortunately, no injuries.
As the afternoon progressed in the 1973 Motor State 400 at